Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Stacey and I am a mature student studying with the Open University. I'm currently in my third year and I'm studying towards my BA Honours in Childhood and Youth Studies. Actually, disclaimer, I'm in my third year, but it's out of 6 because I'm a part-time student, so I'm not in my last year. Okay, couple of things. First of all, if I look very stiff and I don't look very well, it's because I am stiff and I'm not very well. I'm in quite a lot of pain with my neck and my shoulder, and I probably sound a bit croaky, a bit congested, but it's fine. I want to make some disclaimers before we get into this video. I am not an education specialist. I am not a specialist in writing essays. I get good grades, but I'm not perfect. And if you are going to take anything from this video, do so at your own risk. Just saying. This is my video about TMAs, how I write my TMAs, and this is how I find it easy to do so, or as easy as possible to do so. I do not write essay plans and things like that, so if you are looking for that kind of content, this is not the place for you. My brain doesn't work that way. Excuse me. So I've written some notes, so if you see me looking down, it's because I've got some notes. I just do my best. That's all we can ask for. Like I say, my brain doesn't necessarily work the same way that lots of other people's do. So if you maybe find that yours doesn't and you struggle with the essay planning and stuff like that, this might help. But it's not a guarantee, so please just do what feels right for you and what you are comfortable doing. That's my disclaimer. Okay, so first thing I do, actually let me grab some more. First thing I do before, this is as the module opens, before I do any work on the actual module, I write down in my diary the TMA due dates. I print off my TMA guidance, and then again with my tutorials, I'll book them and write down the dates. These are some of my TMA guidances that I've got. This is the one I'm currently about to start, which is my TMA 02, and I love these. I don't know how you would do it without them, so I'm sure you all know where to get them. I'll pop up a little video of how to get to it, but I'm pretty sure you would all know how to get to your guidance. Otherwise, I don't know how you're doing them, your TMAs. Yeah, so I print it all off. You could pop it all on a folder on your desktop, or put it into GoodNotes. I've done that before. GoodNotes is fine for how I like to use it. You don't have to print them out, but for me, I don't know why, I just find it really helpful to have them next to me. It's like kind of like a security blanket when I'm doing my TMA. It's just there and I like it. But yeah, you do what you need to do. So that's like the main part. I go through this before I do anything else with my TMA. I go through it, I read through it, and I'll have read through this probably about 20 times by the time I finish my TMA. So the first thing I do is go through and I highlight bits that are important to me. So things like the references for the like the photo, for example. Last TMA I did, we had a newspaper article that we had to, or an online article I think it was. So again, the reference for that, I just like to make sure I've got everything out in bold. I go through and I look up the relevant materials. Now this I actually did just after I finished my last TMA, but because I was running behind, I didn't actually use it like I would normally use it. So I would normally, as I'm doing my notes, look out things for the TMA, keep this with me as I'm doing it. So I've got the TMA question, I've got the TMA guidance as I'm doing my notes, so that I can kind of make some notes around the TMA, any key points, things like that as I go along. And I have a brain dump file, on a Word file on my computer, on my laptop, and that will be something where I'll bullet point things as well as I go along. Like I said, I haven't done that this time because I was behind because I got ill. So in doing that, it means I'll have to go back and do it again, but it won't really take that long because it tells you where to look. So yeah, in case you don't know that, make sure that you are looking this up because it's got everything you need in it. Okay, so yes, like I said, I'm going to revisit the relevant material. I do that anyway, so I doubt it will add too much time onto my process anyway. One of the main things that I would say, the most important things, is to attend the tutorials, because certainly for me, I get so much out of those tutorials. You can interact with your peers, with your tutor. You could get feedback on maybe some of the thoughts you've already had about it. They give you so much information. You can kind of get a taste as to what your particular tutor is looking for as well. That's always helpful, because although we're working to a marking guide or criteria, I'm very aware that they all interpret that slightly differently. So that's always super helpful, and they'll usually give you a little nudge like, oh, this is a great theorist to be looking into, or whatever it is. So definitely attend the tutorials, and if you can't attend it for whatever reason, there's usually one of the lot of tutors that have recorded theirs. So even if you can't get onto your tutor's tutorial, make sure you go and look one up and watch it, because they're invaluable. Yes, so next thing I do is I will go onto my laptop, go into Word, and on my desktop I have different folders. So I'll have one for each module, so in this case E232, and then in that I'll have, at the moment I've got something like how to write an academic essay, which is some information that our tutor gave us. And then I'll have like TMA 01, and everything for TMA 01 is in there. And then I've made one for TMA 02, so now everything for TMA 2 goes in there. It's all organized, it's there. I can just click to it. So even if it was like, for example, last time it was this online article, it's there. I can go straight to it. I put things like the marking criteria in there as well, so that it's there, it's ready, and I can just add it to my document when I need to. So I'll have my brain dump in there, and then I will create a new document. That document it will be my main document, the one that's getting sent to my tutor. So I will save it properly. So it'll be, I think off the top of my head, it's name, your personal identifier, and then the TMA information. So TMA 02, and then whatever it is, E232. Which I won't show you mine, obviously, because I'm not supposed to show my personal identifier. So I'll do that. I'll make sure that this particular document is set up exactly as I want it to go, so that all I have to do is put in the information once I've done it. So I will have the line spacing, I will have the headers, the footers, the marking criteria in there, the subheadings, like the references, things like that. Save it properly, and then it's there. And the reason I do that as one of the first things before I even start writing my TMA is basically so that when I finished all the TMA writing and I'm sick to the sight of it and I am just exhausted by it, which is how I feel after every single TMA, I just want it gone, I'm not making silly mistakes then, because it's all there, it's all done, it's all set up. I literally just have to copy and paste my information into it. I've found that that works. Having tried it other ways, I find that that works best for me. And part of the reason that works so well is because I have a different document, different Word document for every paragraph. So for my intro, my paragraph 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever it is, and a conclusion, I will have a different document. And my references, I'll have a different document for that. There are a few reasons for this, and the reasons are that, first of all, when I used to have this blank document just staring at me, knowing that I had to fill it with 1,000 words, I used to find that really overwhelming and really stressful, and it used to give me like writer's block, where I would be paralyzed. Whereas now I'm like, oh, I've only got to write 250 words for this bit, and it sounds ridiculous because it's the exact same thing, but it just feels different. It doesn't feel as intimidating. It feels very much like, oh, I just got to write a paragraph, done, off it goes. Also, I'm not the best at technology. I can work it and I can get by, but if I do, for whatever reason, delete something by accident, it's one paragraph. I haven't just deleted an entire important document that's got everything I needed in it. Then I do think, like, I think to myself, for me, I can get very overwhelmed very quickly by, I'm writing along and then I look up because I'm thinking about something else, and then I'll see something in a sentence in the previous paragraph that I'm like, oh, actually, and I'll get so distracted, then I'm in that, then I forget what I was doing with that paragraph. So for me, taking it very much, breaking it down into just paragraph by paragraph, makes it so much more efficient. I can't even tell you. For me, it's the only way I'm ever going to write them ever again, because it just works. And then once I've got them all paragraph by paragraph and I'm happy with it, it also means I don't have to try and write it in chronological order. I will just have the key information, whatever it is, the key point at the top that I'm writing this paragraph about, and that's it. And then I can just take it out and then work it out in another document. I will work it all out chronologically, make sure it all makes sense, and then transfer it into my main TMA document. Then I write my intro and my conclusion, because then I know what I've written. But I used to write myself a plan. I used to spend so much time on all of this stuff, and I used to like get so distracted and so overwhelmed. And I just realized, just break it all the way down so that you physically cannot get distracted by any of it. And it worked so much better for me. I can't tell you how much less stressful that is for me. And it turns something, like I say, very overwhelming into something not easy. I wouldn't say easy, but much more simple, I would say. Make sure you're checking your spelling and your grammar. But I do all of this before I even put it into the main document. I make sure I'm really, really happy with it. I make sure initially per paragraph I'm happy with the spelling and the grammar and everything. Then when I put it all together sequentially, I check that I'm happy with how it flows and everything. Again, check spelling and grammar, just in case I've changed anything, and then it goes into the main document, and then I check it again. Another thing I do is I check the word count once it's in the main document, just to be on the safe side, because if, for example, my math was not mathing, then I've completely messed it up for no reason. So I just double check it. That's the best thing you can do, just double check. Yeah, and then obviously all the references and everything go in. I don't know if everybody has this. I've always had this on mine, is the part B, which is like the reflection part. Don't forget to do that. So I add that all in. I do that exactly the same way. in completely separate documents and then add it in. Yeah, and then I'm check. What I will say is, if you have had, so for example, if you're not coming across this video before you've done any kind of TMA, and in case you don't know, a TMA means tutor marked assignment, EMA means end of module assignment, and that's not marked by your tutor, that's marked by somebody else. Yeah, unless you're coming across this as your first, before your first ever TMA or assignment of any kind, you'll have feedback from a previous assignment. Make sure you're using it. I know that sounds really obvious, but it can be really easy to get caught up in the writing the TMA, and then I've done it myself where at the end I go, oh, I haven't even looked at my previous feedback. So I usually make sure I've got that printed out and with me as well when I'm doing it, just to keep me on track with it. I also try to make, it sounds ridiculous, I try and make it really obvious that I've used their feedback if I can. So obviously without putting arrows saying, look, I did it. I think it's really important to make your tutor see that you've taken on board what they've said and they haven't wasted their time giving you their expertise, their feedback, and that you've taken it on board. They all want to see that. So it's so important, you need to kind of make it as obvious as possible. Like I said before, don't forget to reference any material from the TMA. In my case, this picture here. And another little tip I have, or it's just something I do. So when I'm going through the module material, I use these little like stickies and a completely different colour pen. So let me see if I can find an example. Yeah, so here. So in my usual notes were done in this really light pink colour, my highlights. When I was talking about my TMA and picking things out, I even wrote para 3, as in I wanted that to go in paragraph 3. So I use a completely different colour highlighter or marker or whatever you're using, and different colour tabbies as well, so that I know that that's the colour for TMA 01. So if I want to look for something that's TMA 01, I just go straight to this colour and I know that that's got something that I think relates to that. So usually, like I say, I will do that when I'm doing my notes, doing my usual studying, but I didn't this time, so I will go back and do that. But yeah, that's just another example of, I'll write like para 3 here, I think I've got para 4, intersectionality, like I'll write the notes like paragraph 4 down here. So I try really hard, if I'm going through it or when I'm revisiting it, to try and go, okay, well this will be in paragraph 4, this will be in paragraph 3. I know it sounds really bitty compared to just writing an essay plan, but for me they've just never worked the way that they've been shown to me, and I've tried so hard, but this is the way that for me kind of works in I treat it as kind of like a step-by-step, like a flowchart type thing. So I know that once I've done this I need to do this, and once I've done this I need to do this, and then it stops me from forgetting things, and it means that I can just breathe a bit, and it means that I can go back to it, like leave it if I need to and come back to it and know where I am. I used to really struggle with that as well, but I also make sure that it's the correct font name, the font size, things like that in the main document before anything else. When I've worked out what my key points are, I'll do like paragraph 1 key point and then write down what it is. That again helps me, it's right there, I can refer to it. I have my essay question with me at all times, so I can refer back to that, because we're always making sure that we're, you know, keeping on the key point and referring back to the essay question, and using the PEAL method: point, evidence, explain, link. Again, I'm sure you all know that. Yeah, it's all very simple. But I wanted to share this just in case it helps anyone whose brain works a little bit differently, anyone who's struggling with essay planning, and anyone who is, again, this isn't a how-to. This is how I do it, and generally speaking, I find that not everybody feels that my way is a way that will work for them, and that's absolutely fine. Thank you again for all your lovely comments on my last video. If you've made it this far, thank you again so much. And if you could like, subscribe, comment, share, I don't know, all the things, I would be eternally grateful. And yeah, thank you so much for listening. I hope you all get on really well with your next TMA. And if you have any questions or tips, that would be awesome. Pop them in the comments below, and we can all just have like a little community where we help each other out. That would be amazing. All right, so thank you so much again, and I will see you all again next week for another video. Take care. Bye.